What is going on, Panthers Nation? Carolina Dad here, your host of the Growls One Roar podcast. We are back with our preview of the first game of the preseason for the Carolina Panthers and the New England Patriots. So welcome, New England Patriot fans. Last year, I know as I made these videos, I had fans from other teams jumping in. I appreciate y'all for tuning into the show, for joining. And hey, let's get this thing started. We have football back. Right? Football back. Number one, I like this new camera. It's just an upgraded iPhone. That's all I use for my recording, but the quality's crisp. Y'all don't care about that. Here we go, folks. Thursday night football. Hey, the Panthers may not have any primetime games during the season, but we got some primetime football on the NFL Network Thursday night as the Patriots and Panthers kick things off. So here we go. Let's go ahead and start with the Patriots. Let's maybe start on that side of the fence. Y'all know as a Panthers fan, there's a lot to talk about, and I've talked about extensively, but the new look Patriots starting out with a new head coach, just like the Panthers, Jared Mayo taking over the job there throughout this offseason. Some key acquisitions. We can talk about Jacoby Brissett, who is the presumptive starter, at least right now, and heard that from Coach this week. Drake May, y'all know I'm a homer. Marking this hat today for our man Xavier Legette, J.C. Horn, and all the other Clowney, DJ Wonham. Y'all know I'm a Carolina guy, a North Carolina guy, that is, in Drake May. I'm excited to see Drake May play. For all my New England Patriots fans that are out there, I watched this guy the last 2 years at Carolina. This guy overachieved. I think the thing around him, the team around him kind of let him down in some situations, but he was definitely the leader of this team. And I'm excited for y'all to get a good quality NFL quarterback. Also, they drafted Joe Milton III, so you have that, and then Bailey Zappi still on the roster. Biggest, I don't know if I call it biggest, but notable move in the offseason was Mac Jones. You go out, you draft a quarterback, bring in Jacoby, bring in Joe Milton. They needed a reset there with Mac Jones, and it's a quick departure. Look at Mac Jones being traded to Jacksonville. Think about Zach Wilson to the Denver Broncos. The NFL is the not-for-long league for a reason, and I think Panthers fans, we sit here and not saying this is the case, but I think Panthers fans are there's at least part of the fan base that's worried, or at least trying not to worry that we don't run into the same situation with Bryce Young. And I don't think that's going to be the case, but it's always worth talking about that and calling it out. Now, starting or looking through, I'm only bringing this name up because it is a notable name for Panthers fans. I don't know if it's a competition, but they do have two kickers. Chad Ryland, I guess, is technically the starter right now, but Joey Sly is also on the roster. Panthers fans know all about Joey Sly from his time here as he continues to bounce around through the league. So we know that New England, from a game plan perspective, there's not going to be a game plan. Heard that right from Coach Mayo this week. So when we talk about expectations for this game, it's going to be basic fundamentals, and that'll be the theme really for both teams. Basic fundamentals, tackling, executing the play call, very simple play calls, which Panthers fans may not like as we talk about the vanilla approach and what we saw last year with Frank Reich, but I do think it is going to be a little bit different. Now, outside of those key additions, let's see, who else they did signed Kendrick Bourne, to a 3-year deal. KJ Osborne as well, who's recovering from his ACL injury. A few other notable acquisitions. Wait a second here. Did they still have Michael Jordan, the guard? Because I'm just now, I don't think so. So I guess at one point, and they do, the Michael Jordan, another player that Panthers fans are familiar with. Let's see, is it the same? I've got to make sure it's the same because I don't know any other Michael Jordan. I guess it's, do we have more history here? Actually, maybe a different Michael. No, yep. It's the Michael Jordan. It's the Michael Jordan that we we've all known about. So that Michael Jordan is now in New England as well. He is on the third line. When I look at the Patriots, and I know they're going to play Jacoby Brissett, they're going to play Drake May. I wouldn't be surprised if Joe Milton gets in there. Hard to know just because I personally have not been connected to the team. I've listened to pressers this week, but I don't know the stance on some of these guys. I know a few folks are injured. Kendrick Bourne, Cole Strange, they're listed as out. On the second line, I forgot, man. Acquisition of Juju Smith-Schuster. He's now in New England. Javon Baker, a big draft pick that a lot of folks like. They have Hunter Henry, starting tight end, Austin Hooper. Pretty solid core. Like, not anything I think that's going to, scare a lot of teams in the NFL, but a decent foundation. And it sounds like, unfortunately, for New England Patriot fans, that they are not going to be in on the Brandon Ayuk trade. Sounds like it's pretty much between the Steelers right now. The Steelers and Texans, and I know Texans, oh my gosh, the Steelers and the 49ers, and I think the Browns have also been brought in, but it really seems between those two camps. So this game, again, Thursday night, tickets are only $17 if you are in the area and want to go attend. Let's see if we can get a preview pulled up on my side. Maybe not. Trying to pull this. So the Patriots are 6.5-point favorites. If the world is we're in the state of betting. Betting's everywhere. 6.5-point spread in favor of New England. Over under at 33.5 points. I mean, those are really your two betting lines right now. Panthers, I mean, it's hard to imagine we see Xavier Legette, Ian Thomas, Tommy Tremble. I think we're going to see a lot of Jatavian Sanders. We know we're not going to see any of Bryce Young. And if you listen to the show yesterday, I talked about Bryce Young, excuse me, and wanting to play, and me personally wanting him to play. And I was just on ESPN Wilmington today talking about that as well. I think at some point in the preseason, he needs to get out there. I think it would have made more sense to get him out there now, earlier, and then let him rest, only because, no offense to New England, but we go up against the Jets next week. Jets have a pretty stout defense, and I guess we're just going to get a lot of looks in the joint practice. And then you also have the Buffalo Bills, who stout defense as well. So at some point, you got to try Bryce out there. I know the NFL's changed. You only have the 3 preseason games. Starters usually don't get a lot of playing time, but I would love to see him get involved. So I guess we could turn our attention to the Carolina Panthers and talk through. I just had this pulled up. We'll talk through. I mean, I did an episode on the Panthers depth chart. I'll kind of melded it in with our takeaways from training camp. I'm going to see if I can pull this up. Internet's running really slow. Maybe we can get to it. Maybe not. Well, I've got the ESPN version that will work. So from our perspective, Andy Dalton is out. Likely going to see a lot of Jack Plummer and a lot of Jake Luton. Those are your two guys. I would be surprised if Chuba Hubbard plays, but maybe he does get a few carries. Jonathan Brooks, is out. Miles Sanders, possibly toting the rock a few times. I wouldn't mind him getting out there, dusting it off. But then again, they may shut him down. Expect a lot from Raheem Blackshear. I guess the ESPN version of this is where I was trying to get to the actual Panthers version of this depth chart, because their version goes deep. But the other name in the mix likely is Mike Boone. So I think Mike Boone's probably going to get a lot of carries or touches, especially if we're going to be a run-heavy offense, like we said. So I'd really look for the tail end of this roster to be involved. Raheem Blackshear, Mike Boone, possibly Jaden Sheridan. Like, maybe there's a chance that he gets into the game as well, undrafted free agent running back out of Monmouth. At the wide receiver position group, I don't know that Deontay Johnson plays. I doubt Adam Thielen plays. And Jonathan Mingo, I see value in getting Mingo out there. Maybe they decide to go ahead and sit him as well. Jonathan Mingo's had an outstanding camp. I would like to see it, when the lights come on, just to reassure me. Talked about the tight end group. I mean, you're probably going to have a lot of Jatavian Sanders, Jordan Matthews, Felipe Franks, and there's been a few other acquisitions that have happened over the last, week or so with some rotational guys that'll be thrown in there. Offensive line, same thing. So I'd love, Austin Corbett to play, to get some snaps in. I think I think the reps would not hurt to have him out there, but I don't know starter wise if we're going to roll with the ones or not. And or, Hunt could sit. We know Lewis is battling an injury. Taylor Moton, veteran, so it's probably a good chance we may not even see these guys. They have Cade Mays as the backup center right now, even though Brady Christensen's really been the number two. So I think that is another dynamic to this that I'll be looking for tomorrow night. Is Cade Mays going to be at center? Is it going to be Brady Christensen? Some of the questions that I have around there. Probably a lot of Zavala, a lot of Ricky Lee, Badara Traore, likely on there as well. And then we know Yash, again, battling injury. The depth at wide receiver, said Xavier's going to be out. I think we'll see some Terrace Marshall Jr., Amir Smith-Marset, David Moore. I think this is really a tryout for David Moore, Devin Tompkins, and Jalen Coker. And you throw Mike Strachan in there. I think that group specifically is where, at the tail end of this roster, a lot of those guys are fighting for really the fifth, sixth, and seventh spot. Well, I don't think we'll keep 7 wide receivers, but up into 6 spots on the wide receiver group. I think that covers you for the offense. On the defensive side of the ball, I would expect a lot of guys to sit as well. Derek Brown, Shai Tuttle, Ashawn Robinson, DJ Williams out. I do think we'll see a little bit of DJ Johnson. I think Clowney will probably sit. Who would our rotation be there? Clayvon Chasen, him as well. And then, we know Barno's hurt, but Iku Leota, Kenny Dyson, Cam Gill. So the defense, probably in the same boat. Shaq and Josie Jewell, maybe they sit. I just wouldn't be surprised if a lot of these guys are out, which leaves you with Claude Cherilus, Trevin Wallace, Chandler Wooten, Tay Davis, Jackson Mitchell, and we haven't even gotten into Michael Barrett, who is the 7th round draft pick. He's fallen down the depth chart quite a bit, so I'm hoping he gets an opportunity in the game to showcase. But, at the tail end of the roster, hard to know. Cornerback position, Dane Jackson, J.C. Horn. Will we see either of those guys? Maybe not. You have DiCaprio Boodle, Lamar Jackson. Again, Lamar Jackson, the cornerback. Shaw Smith Wade is your nickel, looking more at second team. Caden Stearns, Alec Cook, Nick Scott, and then quite a few lists of guys. Jaden Crumity, as we talk about draft picks as well, as someone that I've got my eye on. Moving to special teams, will Eddie kick? Maybe. Is it going to be Harrison Mevis? Either way, the tryout and the competition continues. I do still feel like Eddie Pinheiro is leading this battle right now. Johnny Hecker, J.J. Jensen, pretty easy there. Punt return and kick return, you do have Amir Smith-Marset, Raheem Blackshear, and then Devin Tompkins and David Moore. I'd expect that rotation, as well as, oh my gosh, Sheridan thrown into the mix, and think about who we saw from our time at camp. But yeah, as far as expectations for this game, I know the preseason doesn't mean anything at all, but personally, what the Panthers went through last year, I want to see a competent football team, a well-coached football team. I know there's going to be mistakes, but a team that goes out and shows us, hey, this thing is turning around. Because I talked about it today, that you look at Baltimore Ravens, they are a well-coached team. They went on a streak of however many preseason games, which, again, preseason means nothing, but it tells me that you are able to motivate these second, third, fourth tier players and coach them up to win football games. And we've seen success carry over for them in this season. So I think I'd want to see this out of, the offense. Can we have a productive running game, passing game? Can some of these other guys that are, on the borderline able to step up? And then defensive wise, who's going to make the leap? Because, a lot of turnover on defense, a lot of questions about pressure and the cornerback position group itself. So I'm excited to see these guys because like you're going to be going up really against starters. Like Jacoby Brissett may come into the season as the starter, but at some point Drake May will take over. So you're going to get reps against two starting quarterbacks in this game. Take advantage of it, even if it is second and third team, whoever's out there, and play competitive football. I'd love to see a win. It means nothing, but it does mean something in a way, just to kind of show that, hey, this thing is headed in the right direction. We can win football here. And I think it's just a nice little boost, going through this camp so far. They've been against each other really the whole summer, in the spring, and now's the time to get to go against another team and show them, hey, yeah, you know what? We're gonna figure this thing out. Anyways, folks, I guess we'll close out the episode. Sitting here thinking like how I used to do in the season last year, giving out predictions. I want to lean. Part of me wants to lean New England only because I feel like Drake may come out and show us, hey, he can sling it. And I also know that we're not even rolling with second string, but third and fourth string quarterbacks. So I would say I'd favor New England if I was picking this. Like they are the 6.5 point favorite for a final score. Last year, Panthers got shut out preseason opener against the Jets, 26-0. That was terrible. I don't think it'll be as bad this year. Let's roll 21, make up a weird number, 21-15. 21-15, that would give you the Panthers would cover in that case. Anyways, 21-15 final score. Although y'all know I'm pulling for the Panthers to pull this one out. Get us a win. Anyways, folks, that's going to do it for today's show. Y'all have a good one.